Hello, everyone, and good day from wherever you're watching. I welcome you all to the Renewed Parenting Platform. In this platform, we help parents raise king makers, we help parents raise legacy builders, we help parents raise positive world changers through our teachings, through our videos, and through our idea of modern parenting and with the knowledge of the scriptures. So, you're welcome to class today, and my name is Choma Odikolo, and I refer to myself as a masterpiece, an institution, a legacy builder, and a maker of kings. So today we'll be discussing about sex conversation to have with your children from 6 to 8 years old. Yes, it's our duty as parents to have these conversations with our children, because if we don't have these conversations with them, who else can? It's possible these conversations, they can have it with their friends, they could have it with their classmates, they could have it with anybody. And as a parent, you don't want to leave that part of your responsibility into the hands of someone you don't know the person's value. So it's our duty to stand up to this responsibility of ours of having these conversations with our children. So we're going to be looking at a list of things or a list of conversations or discussions you can start to have with your 6 to 8 years old. Number one, we need to build more online safety. Now, at this age, children are curious about what they want, what they see online. They are curious about the screen. They are curious about the television, about the phone, about your phone as a parent. So, as parents, it's our duty to build more online safety for our children. What kind of safety measure do you have in place as regards online? Do you have a password for your phone? Do you have a code for your phone or the television? Do you have a guide, a family guide as regards when to watch a particular program, what to watch and what not to watch, what to watch and what to avoid? Now, it's our duty as parents to build online safety for our children. Number two, we need to talk to our children about expressing themselves when they are not comfortable with a particular person. Yes, sometimes our children try to express themselves to us. Sometimes they are trying to tell us, oh, mommy, I'm not comfortable with this person. Oh, daddy, I'm not comfortable with this person. But most times, what do parents do? We shut down our children. We don't give them the opportunity to express themselves. And a good number of times, they might actually be correct, or they might have good reasons why they are not comfortable with a particular person. So it's our duty as parents to let our children know it's okay to let me know or to let your dad know when you're uncomfortable about anybody and about anything or any situation. We should also be vulnerable to our children. We should let them know it's okay to let us know, even when they are uncomfortable with what we are doing, provided they express themselves respectfully. So let's have these conversations with them. Let's let them know it's okay to tell me when you're uncomfortable about anything. By doing that, it comes easy for our children to always speak up, to open up to us when they get to a point where they are not really happy about a particular situation. Then number three, we need to discuss with our children about sharing their pictures online. We need to have these conversations with our children because we might not always be with our children 24 hours. As a parent, you're not with your child in school. As a parent, you're not with your child when your child is playing out there with his or her friends. As a parent, you might not always be there with your child. So our duty is to arm our children with the tools, is to arm our children with the necessary knowledge, the things they need to know or the things they need to be aware even when we're not there. And one of them is to tell them about not sharing their photos online, about having, keeping their photos private, because at this point probably some of their classmates or some of their friends or kids might tell them, oh, you need to take this picture, you need to post online, you need to look like this, because they are seeing a lot of things around. So we need to have the conversation on sharing photos online. What is obtainable in your family? What is your family value as regards sharing photos online? You need to have that conversation with your child. Then the fourth is that we need to have conversations on pornography. We need to have conversations with our children on what they should do when they see or encounter a bad picture. The truth is that we can't run away from these things, because every day somehow, these pictures are flaunted in front of us. Even you as a parent, sometimes you might go to the supermarket and you just see a particular advert which you're not comfortable with, even as an adult. And also, our children are seeing these things because they go to the markets, they interact with people, they are in school. There are some pictures in the books, our children in the books in school, that might be against your value. So we need to have these conversations with our children. Let your child know, what do you do when you see a bad picture? What do you do when you see a picture in your textbook and you're not comfortable with? What do you do when you see someone dressed in an inappropriate way? What do you do when someone is forcing you to look at a bad picture? What do you do when someone is forcing you to watch pornography? We need to have that conversations with our children. We need to let our children know what to do. Sometimes our children might go to their cousins' house, relatives. Sometimes they might even go out to play with their friends. And sometimes in the midst of play, they might have this conversation of bad picture and pornography. Have you armed your child with what to do when this conversation starts? Have you armed your child with what to do when the child is faced in a dilemma? Should I watch this picture or I should not watch this picture? Everything our children do, definitely we have to stand from our values. What we see okay, what is obtainable to you in your family, what is obtainable to you in your family as your value. So we need to arm our children with the knowledge or with the information they need, when they encounter when they get to a point of looking at the bad picture, or what to do when they see a bad picture. Now the fifth conversation we should have with our children is that at this point we should start to let our children know more about their bodies. We should tell them about their different body parts and the functions, because at this point they are exploring their body. They are trying to understand, oh, why do I have a vagina? Why do I have a breast? Why do I have penis? Why do I have armpits? Why do I have eyes? Why do I have this? They are all trying to explore their body. And our duty at that point is not to shut them out. Most times, what do we do as parents? Your child comes to you and say, Mommy, I don't understand. My body is doing me somehow. Mommy, I don't understand. I don't understand. Why do I have vagina? Why do I have this? And what do we say? We say, come on, will you shut up? Oh, keep quiet. Oh, don't say that thing. We shut down our children. We don't have these conversations with our children. We don't teach them what to do. And because they are curious, they go out there with their curiosity and have these conversations with anybody. And sometimes the people they might have this conversation might be people that are inexperienced, people that even need help as much as they do, and that is not a good place we want to be. So we need to have the conversation, this conversation of allowing our children understand their body parts, the functions of their body. Another conversation we need to have with our children is talk to them about inappropriate touch. What is appropriate touch? What is inappropriate touch? Any touch you feel uncomfortable with is inappropriate. It doesn't matter who. It doesn't matter if it's from me, your mom. It doesn't matter if it's from your dad. It doesn't matter if it's from your uncle. It doesn't matter if it's from an elder. It doesn't matter if it's from anybody. An inappropriate touch is an inappropriate touch, and we must arm our children with what to do when they get to that point. We must arm them with what to say irrespective of the person. when they get to that point. Now, what do some parents do? Your child comes to tell you, Mommy, I don't like the way this uncle is touching me. And what do some parents say? Oh, that is your uncle. Don't say that thing. You must respect your uncle. You must be obedient. Who even says that we must be obedient? To me, obedience is not the goal. The goal is for our children to honor us. Obedience is not the goal. Because of this narrative of obedience, that's why a lot of people grew up being abused. Because we were taught that we need to obey elders, we need to obey our parents, we need to obey everybody. Provided that person is your senior, you need to obey that person. But it's not true, because as an adult, you're not always right. We make mistakes. We always make mistakes. So what do we do as parents? We need to let our children know that if it is inappropriate, it is inappropriate. It doesn't matter who. Then this next conversation we should have with our children, we need to start to talk about abuse. We need to start to talk about sexual abuse. We need to start to talk about all forms of abuse. We need to talk about emotional abuse. We need to talk about physical abuse. We don't have to leave these things to chance. We don't have to put it under the carpet or wait for someone to see or to have these conversations with our children. Let your child know. You can even be vulnerable to your child. Age appropriate conversations. Share your lessons while growing up. What were the mistakes you made? Age appropriate. Definitely, you're not going to feed your child with all the information at that point. But age appropriate. What were the mistakes you made? What were the things you would have done better if you have this information? If you knew about abuse, if your parents had sex conversations with you, we have to be vulnerable and share our stories with our children, because the truth is that children relate more with stories. It's an error for me. I say personally, it's an error for my child to make the same mistake I made. So what do we need to do? We need to tell our children, now this is abuse. We need to tell them what sexual abuse is. We need to tell them what emotional abuse is. We need to tell them all forms of abuse. How they can identify this abuse. We need to tell them what physical abuse is. And this sexual form of abuse can be this sexual form of abuse can be through any form. It can be through touching, and it might not even be through touching. So we need to let our children know, so that when they encounter such, they are aware and they know what to do. We should not allow our children to just go through life without knowing their left from their right. We need to let them know when someone is acting this way, it's a red flag. When someone is looking at you in a certain way you feel uncomfortable with, it's a red flag. What do you need to do? Ask for help. Keep asking for help. Keep talking until you get help. I usually tell my daughter in school, you need to keep talking until you get help. If you talk to Mr. A, Mr. A doesn't help you. You talk to Mrs. A, she doesn't help you. Keep talking and talking until you get help. We need to arm our children. We need to let them know they have their mouths to talk, to express themselves, and not to die in silence when someone is being abusive. It could be in school, probably physical abuse, emotional abuse. It could be anywhere. We need to let our children know that it's a no, it is unacceptable, and we tell our children what to do. Seek for help. Keep seeking for help until you get help. So we need to have that conversation with our children. Then finally, this age bracket, we need to have the conversation of puberty. Now, at this age, some children have started experiencing puberty. Some children are beginning to enter the puberty stage. So there are a lot of changes going on in their body. There are a lot of changes going on within them, inside and outside. So we need to have that conversation. Growing up as a parent, if you can relate, did your parents have the conversation of puberty with you? What were your struggles because you were not armed with this information? What were the things you did, the errors you made because you were not armed with this information? Would you want your child to make the same error? Would you want your child to make the same mistakes, or to make decisions with not having this information, at their fingertips? So have the puberty conversation. conversation with your child. I remember when growing up, me personally, I can't remember having any puberty conversation with my parents. And to be honest, it made me to struggle because I did not really know so much about puberty. I did not really know so much about the changes. So as parents, imagine you didn't have this conversation. Imagine the struggles you went through. And now, are you doing the same thing? Are you replicating the same thing? All because some parents say, oh, I'm shy. Oh, I don't want to have this conversation. Oh, I don't want, my child is innocent. No, we need to have these conversations with our children. Have the puberty conversation. Tell your child these are the changes, these are the things you see. You might experience some changes in your body, and it's okay because that is a particular season or a particular stage of your life that everyone goes through. We need to tell our children these things so that when they get to that stage of puberty, their self-esteem is not punctured. They are not feeling, oh, I look different, why do I have this, why is my breast getting this, it getting bigger, why do I have pimples on my face, why do I feel this way, why is my emotion up and down? Sometimes they are confused, they don't even know. And it's our duty as parents to have these conversations with them. There are some books you can get on puberty. There are good books out there you can get on puberty. Please, parents, let us arm our children with the information they need. Get books for your child. Get books for your children. Go to the library. Get books. Read. If it's online, you need to read. You need to get this sexuality education. Read everything that you need to read that is in alignment with your family values and begin to teach. Begin to teach. Begin to arm your children with these conversations or with this information or with this knowledge or wisdom. So it's a call for all of us as parents to stand up to our duties, to stand up to our responsibilities, to have these conversations with our children, so that our children will go through life informed, so that our children will go through life, equipped when they encounter difficult situations as regards their sexuality, or when they are faced with these conversations out there. So as a parent, have you started having sex conversation with your 6 to 8 years old? If you've not started, please start. Thank you very much for listening to me today. I believe you've got value from this class. Please like this video, share this video, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel called The Renewed Parenting. Now, if you have any question, you feel free to drop it down in the comment section and we'll do our best to answer. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you for listening to me. I do not take your time for granted. Do have a great day and remember to be renewed in your minds and remember to have the sex conversation with your 6 to 8 year olds. Thank you very much and see you later. Bye.